Hi, good morning. Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. I'm here with Anna Ashford of Alt Legal. How you doing, Anna?
Hi, Mike. Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Good stuff. Now, you're head of Alt Legal, and if you could give us a bit more background as to who you are, what you do, how long you've been doing it for, please, Anna, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. So, Alt Legal is a boutique law firm that works predominantly with founder-led businesses and SMEs. It's all about providing a really credible alternative for kind of smaller businesses to the traditional law firm model, which we kind of feel doesn't really serve SMEs and founders very well. Um, you know, Everybody has had a bad experience with a lawyer. What we've tried to do is look at what are those experiences? What do small businesses actually need and want to support them in their growth journeys? And how do we deliver that? So it's all about getting rid of all the stuff that people don't like, listening to what they do want, and modernising what is a very tired traditional industry and making it a bit more fun.
Fantastic. That's a nice summary there. Thank you. So, how did you get into that? What was the inspiration for Alt Legal?
Well, I guess a lot of it comes from many, many years in one of those big traditional global law
Mhm.
firms. I worked at one of those firms for 14 years,
Wow.
left a little bit disillusioned, thinking, did I still want to be a lawyer? Decided, yes, I did, but just in a different way. So I ended up joining an organization that was called Alpaca at the time, which had legal services within it. Started by Richard Turner and Rob Ashall 10, 11 years ago now.
Mhm.
Again, with this idea, this ethos of doing law differently, doing it better, and really kind of serving clients, entrepreneurial clients better. Um, and then 5 years ago, during COVID, we took the decision to basically spin the legal part of Alpaca out into its own standalone law firm. So that's Alt Legal, and that's what I head up now.
Fantastic. So, what's the business journey been like for you since those 5 years of splitting up for points?
Well, I
Going-
guess I guess effectively spinning out during COVID was an interesting time to start doing that.
yeah,
Obviously, the business was already established. It was a bit of a rebrand and
sure.
a repositioning. I think what having worked in one of the world's biggest law firms for 14 years to now running effectively a small business, an SME as well. It's hugely different to what I'm used to in terms of I don't have masses of back office teams and support
Yeah.
staff that pick everything else up. So I guess what it's really helped me do is understand what our clients live and breathe every day as well, in terms of the challenges of running a small business, which can be a bit of a roller coaster at
Yeah,
times.
yeah, I bet. What kind of challenges then do you see most for small businesses?
I think budget budget is always a difficult one.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, small businesses don't have infinite budget, so it's trying to work with them to kind of prioritize where that budget should be spent to get sort of the best return on that
yeah,
investment. And that's not just from a legal perspective. I think that's across the board. I think the market is tough at the moment. There's not many businesses I speak to that aren't finding it difficult at the moment. You've got, vast amount of change in the, employment law arena, which makes it even harder for businesses to hire and retain good staff. We've got more changes coming in to data protection legislation, which, in some ways should make some areas a little bit easier for businesses, but it's another kind of compliance hurdle for businesses to get their heads round. Um, Obviously, I would talk about the importance of contracts and legal
yeah.
structures and getting those right. So you've got all of those things that business owners have to be thinking of on top of, the day job of running and growing their businesses.
And so the challenges for them, what about the challenges for you guys as a business and the opportunities ahead? Um, does that reflect in obviously your clients and your market that you're targeting? Does that present a challenge and an opportunity in order to grow as a business in terms of the state of play that we find ourselves in at the moment?
I mean, I think the biggest challenge and opportunity for us and a lot of businesses is AI.
Yeah,
There's no escaping it.
yeah,
I think it presents huge opportunities, but it does also present us as a profession, as a law firm with huge challenges. People have always copied and pasted T's and C's
mhm,
from the web, from other businesses' websites, or from Google, but you've now got a
yeah,
much
yeah,
more sophisticated way of doing that through various different AI platforms. um, how do we
sure.
how do we streamline our processes, be more effective, be more
Mhm,
cost effective for clients, whilst not kind of losing that human element and the human touch, which is such an important part of how we deliver our services to clients.
definitely, it's a hot topic of conversation at the moment in terms
Yeah.
of yeah that balance, striking a balance between human elements of the roles that you do across all businesses really, and not losing that
Mm.
versus leveraging the capability of AI to improve what you do. But I
I
imagine,
think,
yeah, sorry, yeah,
yeah, it's really difficult as well because you've kind of got to not get not get distracted
mm,
into kind of chasing shiny things,
yeah,
because it's looking at what sort of use case have you got for AI, rather than just looking at what you're being sold as this could be a great tool for your business. And I see a
mhm,
lot of that both in our industry and other industries. So it's kind of taking that step back and looking at, right, how do we use this to propel our business forward, rather than what is out there that we can build in.
mhm,
I think the other challenge is around training people, training the next generation of lawyers,
yeah,
marketers, accountants, whatever it might be. And I don't have the answer for that one yet.
yeah,
But a lot of the work that you would do as a junior lawyer,
mhm,
a lot of that will easily be replaced by AI. But where does that leave us in terms of training
yeah.
the next generation? So yeah, that's an interesting one. That one's less easily solved, I think.
Yeah. I think sometimes it's just a bit of time, isn't it, really? With it's still early days, even though things are
Mm,
moving at a fast pace, but there's still,
mm,
even just using Chat GPT personally,
mm.
there's still things that you think, well, I can't, that needs the human eye and element over it before that goes into the wider public domain. It's not
Yeah,
perfect by any stretch of the imagination at the moment. So
yeah.
being wary of that. Thank you for that share. So, in terms of moving on to yourself, then, Anna, and the last 5 years at Alt Legal, what's your biggest lesson to date since you've been head of the company there?
That's a good question. I think investing time into my own development as a leader, I think, has
Yeah.
been critical. Like I say, the day job, the advising clients, I've got 20 years plus experience of that. But running a small business, leading a team, that you know
Mhm.
that's a completely different kettle of
Yeah.
fish. So I guess understanding the importance of taking time to kind of invest in that learning and development, which hopefully the team have seen some benefit from,
Mhm.
and the importance of resilience and having a good
Yeah.
team of people around you, not just kind of the team within the business, but kind of support team,
Yeah.
mentors, or other people to talk to, because it's difficult. It's difficult running a small business,
It is.
and I
Yeah.
think that kind of peer learning, peer support has
Mhm.
has been hugely important for me.
Fantastic. Another good share. How big's the team there, Anna? Or
Uh,
what's the size of the team?
so there's about 15 of us. We are kind of hybrid office based. We've got an office
Yeah.
in Wetherby, also spend a lot of time in Leeds. A lot of our clients are based there. But obviously, as you'd expect, bit of flexibility, remote working,
Yeah.
etc. But we're all together 2 or 3 days a week.
Great stuff. And what's the inspiration then, through the resilience that you've developed and learning leadership skills or improving upon what you had and managing the team, and your experience with clients and the functioning of the services that you provide? What's the inspiration for you, the biggest inspiration for you to kind of keep getting out of bed each morning, going to work and doing what you do?
I think it is a genuine desire to help businesses, and to offer this credible alternative to SMEs and founders, and I guess changing that perception of law.
Yeah.
Feel really passionately that lawyers can add a lot of value to your business. If you speak to the right lawyers, obviously. But it's that, how do we actually modernize? How do we make legal services easy to access? How do we make them relevant? How do we make them easy to understand? How do we get rid of all the barriers that stop
Yeah.
small businesses taking legal advice? And because I do, like I say, genuinely feel that there is a lot of value that can be added by having that good support in the background, helping businesses to grow. And then ultimately, if they are looking to take investment or to exit, again, having their house in order before they get to that position can really only help them achieve a better outcome.
Brilliant. It sounds like the voice of experience talking in terms of some of the things I imagine you've seen there. So if
Oh
someone was
yes.
looking to start out in the legal industry, or if you were to kind of rewind, I don't know, back when you were 18 or just starting out, and a piece of advice that you think would be great in hindsight to offer, what would that be?
To somebody starting out as a lawyer?
Yeah.
Or, oh my
In
goodness.
the industry.
The industry has changed so much
Mhm.
since I started out, and in many ways, a lot of the changes have been positive in terms of the routes to becoming a solicitor have broadened. There's lots more
Yeah.
ways into the industry than there used to be. It used to be, a degree, going to law school, doing your training contract, and then qualifying. So, it was quite elitist in that way, and difficult for people who couldn't maybe follow that route financially or what have you to get in. Um, I speak to sort of young lawyers or people wanting to enter the profession now, and I'll be honest, I'm glad I'm not entering it now.
Yeah.
It's even more competitive than it was
Yeah.
25 years ago. So I guess I'd wish them luck.
I like that. I like that. And we'll at that point we'll kind of tie the
Yeah.
interview up. So lastly, in terms of latest news about what you guys are up to, or even it's a case of simply sharing your website, Alt Legal, so people can get in touch if they want to find out more about what you do, feel free to do that now, Anna.
Fantastic, thank you. Well, we have a employment law update coming up in October. You're very welcome to our offices in Wetherby, to have a kind of a roundtable discussion about some of the changes that are coming in, and understanding what practically employers need to be doing. Similar events coming up in relation to the changes to data protection laws. So I will share more details of those. Best place is probably to follow me and Alt Legal on LinkedIn. We're very active on there, sharing tips, insights, events, running a kind of cost of doing business campaign at the moment, which is all about helping businesses access the right support, not just legal, goes much broader than that. So yeah, please follow me or Alt Legal on LinkedIn.
Fantastic. We will share the link accordingly when we share this interview.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anna. It's been a real pleasure talking with you, and I wish you all the best for the future success of the business.
Thank you.